Thanks, Hemant. This was indeed a day of so many insights and so much of learning. We are at the fag end of the day and the fag end of the year and the decade. The session we'll see next is the ultimate session of the year and the decade, and therefore historic. I don't think in the next 24 hours, anywhere in the world, we'll see another session on public relations. We also have a very interesting lineup of 5 emerging young leaders from the world of India's public relations. With this session, we are also ensuring that every leading PR firm is covered at Spectra. We have representatives from 4 holding companies and 1 Indian independent firm. I'll introduce the panel to all of you in alphabetical order. We have Bhavna Jagtiani based in Mumbai. She is the Chief Operating Officer at Edelman Public Relations. Welcome, Bhavna. We have Manisha Chaudhary based in New Delhi. She is the co-founder of Value 360 Communications. Welcome, Manisha. We have Shivaram Lakshminarayanan. He is the India practice lead of the Enterprise Technology Practice at Genesis BCW based in Bangalore. Welcome, Shivaram. Again, based in Gurgaon, we have Saumi Sriram, who's the Senior Vice President at Fleshman. Thanks for joining us, Saumi. And finally, we have Sunana Jairath, again based in New Delhi. She's the Director at Perfect Systems, a Dentsu company. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for being part of this interesting last panel of the year and the decade, and sharing with us your insights on what has gone by in the last year and what we look forward to in the year ahead. We're calling this discussion Looking Back, Looking Ahead. Welcome to all of you. I'll just share a few questions, and whenever you want to share your insights, please pitch in. I'll also call out names sometimes to bring in perspectives that I would like to hear from one of you specifically. We'll start with hearing it from Bhavna Jagtiani. March 22nd, 2020, we heard that the world was changing. We heard that India would see an unprecedented kind of situation, and this is the only time I'm going to use this word in the next few minutes. A lockdown like no other. What was running in your mind that evening when you heard that there would be a different kind of world emerging in the days ahead? You had teams to look after, you had your company to manage, you had clients' needs to take care of. So tell us what ran in your mind that evening, Bhavna, and then we'll hear it from some others as well.
Thanks, Amit. It's great to be with you and everybody else on this panel. I think the most immediate thing that hit us was we didn't know what to expect. But the 2 words that come to mind instantly, 2 emotions that came to mind at that time was safety and continuity. Safety for our people, safety for our families, safety for ourselves, safety for clients. And then, of course, when you're at home, you want to make sure that there is continuity in everything that we do. Again, whether it's on the personal level or whether it's on the professional side, how do you really make sure that these 2 aspects kind of we are prepared for these 2 aspects for the months and maybe the year to come. So these are the 2 things that were constantly playing in our minds. And no matter how prepared you are, I think there is a lot of agility required to kind of get into that zone. And the rest of the year kind of proved that these were things that continue to be very, very critical. And they remain true even today.
Thanks, Bhavna, for those remarks. Manisha, I'll come to you. BAU remained BAU. Business as usual became business as unusual. You work with a lot of companies in the tech space, in the startup space. And for those companies, every day is different. Every day is a very, very interesting day. What happened at Value 360 and for your clients overnight when this entire world in India came to a standstill?
So, as Bhavna mentioned, definitely the first, reaction was, uncertainty and fear. And I clearly remember that week on week, we started losing clients. The clients started renegotiating their retainer fee. And in fact, the new clients that we were on the verge of closing, they also, stopped responding to us. So yes, there was a lot of uncertainty. We were not sure how we are going to, sustain the business. Yes, we work with a lot of technology business. So what happened later on after dormant months of, March and April, the clients that, started doing well during COVID period, they started coming back to us. So, online gaming, robotic agencies, and, digital first agencies. So they starting, they wanted to connect to their consumer. And that's how, we started reviving our business.
Thanks, Manisha, for those opening remarks. I'll come to Shivaram a little later. Saumi and Sunana, let's hear it from you. What happened in that week soon after the lockdown was announced for yourself, for your teams, for your clients? Tell us more about those memories you have of the last week of March 2020.
Well, I think that was, I mean, like, as you have already mentioned, it was like a very unparalleled time. I mean, it sounded very, very unreal at that point in time for us. And this entire 21 days lockdown felt like very, very traumatic, considering also that we will not be going to work. We did started already the work from home at that point in time, but however, like, we just cannot see anybody, was a reaction which created a little bit of uneasiness, I think, not within us but with everybody. But as just Bhavna mentioned, that the safety was on top of the mind, and probably that was the right step to do. And from client perspective also, the continuity, the business continuity, how we are going to function. And thankfully we already started working when the lockdown was announced at that point in time. So we were already 1 week down in work from home, and we were already up with the virtual meetings and knowing the client, telling them and how we are functioning. So that struggle, honestly, we did not have to do at Fetch. But certainly it took a while to get and grapple ourselves to understand and be in that particular scenario, and also at the same time making our clients comfortable in that scenario was something which really came as a challenge, and we did well. And I'm proud to say none of them actually left, and in fact we won few businesses during that time. So that was pretty I think inspiring for the entire team. Yeah.
Thank you, Somin. Sunaina, my question to you is, what has changed in the last 9 months? What has been different for you in the last 9 months that never would have happened if not for what happened to the world and to the country in the end of March?
So first of all, thank you, Amit, and the entire team for having us. It's, as you said, a young, energetic panel, and it's good to be here on the penultimate day of this very, very interesting year. Okay, so a couple of things. I think the way we've been working for so many years has definitely undergone a change, and I don't think that's ever coming back to the way we were working before March 22nd. A lot of processes and systems have been reimagined and redefined, and especially in our kind of business where people to people interaction, face to face meetings were sort of sacrosanct, critical. There's been an understanding that there can be a effective balance, and balance has been my my mantra during this entire year starting from March, that can be achieved between remote working, working from home, and working from office. Clients have seen that productivity does not suffer. People are accessible, people are available, deliveries output is still happening. Management has seen that employees, in fact, some employees, whether it is working mothers, working parents, or caregivers, and all, they are able to actually manage their time better and in a work from home scenario. So I think something that will probably will get redefined for a fairly long time to come is a good balance between working from home, remote working, and working from office situations. We may also see scenarios where unproductive meetings, unproductive travel may get cut out of calendars, and that will probably free up time for senior executives to, and actually everybody across management hierarchies, to actually invest in either training, self-training, skill development, or be able to take on more work. So that, I think, has been an interesting observation from my side. And one last point, I think hierarchies actually got broken. Earlier, you would probably find it difficult to walk into the CEO's room or a senior director's room and brainstorm with them on something that you're grappling with. You know, you still had certain hoops to jump through. With virtual meetings happening even within the organization multiple times during a week, sometimes multiple times during a day, as senior management, a lot of us have been able to spot potential talent, and as junior and middle management, a lot of our executives, people have been able to showcase their capabilities, showcase their skills to a larger set of senior management that probably they may not have got the chance in a regular style of working. So
No,
that's my piece on that.
yeah, thanks for sharing that. Shivram, to you. All of us this week, last year, the last week of the year, we're making plans, having dreams, aspirations, ambitions for the year ahead. What was running in your mind on December 30th last year, 2019, for the year ahead from a professional point of view? Tell us something about that. And obviously, those things would have changed after March and April. Tell us what was running in your mind last year, this time, as we're making plans for the year ahead.
Thanks, Amit, and thanks rest of you for making time. And we're all together here to discuss one of the most important change in the way we are working today and how it has impacted us and our clients and our people. Coming to Amit's specific question is what was happening on 30th of December 2019. Yes, there was a lot of team building parties, Christmas and New Year closures. From a business perspective, all of us were geared for 2020. The number numeric 2020 was exciting. People thought they were going to do different things, new things, better things, all in positive light. I'm sure none of us thought were thinking about how things are going to change in March. Nobody had an insight about it. So we were all excited to see 2020 will be a great year in terms of achieving or being more in everything we are doing, whether it is acquiring new clients, doing more for our people, for our teams. When you look back, it's changed a lot. We are looking at new ways of delivery today. If you ask me today, 2020, 30th of December, what we are thinking, we are trying to adapt to new ways of working here, whether it is delivering in the new ways of virtual. Digital has become the reality today. There are a lot of collaborative tools have come into our lives. We started working on these and we are adopted this new style of working to our clients or our people. We continue to look into the future and to be more agile and scalable. Today, what clients are expecting, or even our teams are expecting us to be, is like, I think Sunana touched upon the point that, you are expected to be available because times are changing. And then your clients and people are expecting you to be available. So you need to be agile. You need to be thinking about how do you want to kind of make it as part of your life, not only to your work life, but also to your personal life. At the same time, you need to also be able to scale. And this digital medium is enabling us to be scalable. So I would say that, things have drastically changed the way we were looking and where we're going to look into.
Four keywords I've heard in the opening remarks from the five of you is safety and continuity in the end of March 2020, agility, scale, and how digital has completely taken over our lives in the last 9 months. Going ahead, looking ahead, my question now, this is to Bhavna. What are the two things we need to look forward to in 2021 and beyond? What are the two things that a PR professional, especially in consultancies, needs to keep in mind as they build for the year ahead? A lot of things have been difficult in the last 9 months, but we see green shoots, we see hope as we get into a new year. What are the things that you need younger and all kinds of PR professionals to keep in mind as we go along? Bhavna, let's hear it from you.
Yeah, I think Amit, the one important part would be upskilling. I think this year has given all of us an opportunity to acquire new skills, keep learning, and I think that's agnostic of the level that you're at. Whether you're just entering into this profession or you are somebody who's been in this profession for many years, this year has been very, very different for all of us. I mean, personally, I've had to learn new things. I've had to unlearn certain things as well. So a constant learning curve is something that we absolutely need to plan for. We need to invest in a lot more time in training for our people, for ourselves. And the second one is, I think, as partners to our clients, I think we need to have a solving mindset. Sit with the clients, understand what the problems are, and get into a solving mindset, as opposed to it just being a limited conversation to delivering to scope. What last year also taught us was that the client agency relationship has also evolved very significantly. We are all on the same side. If you look at where we are today, we are all in the same boat. Empathy levels were the same. We are all working with the same ways. The work-life balance lines have blurred for everybody. It's not just true for us on the agency side, but even on the client side, they've had to really, really transform their own ways of working. Plans that were perhaps being put by way of fast forwarding to next year suddenly accelerated. Most of us on this panel talked about how digital kind of propelled everything that we did. Those who were planning to take baby steps suddenly fast forwarded those. So I think this year truly is going to be the year where there is going to be deep partnership from the client and the agency. There is going to be a lot of empathy required. There is going to be a lot of creative and innovative thinking, because after a point, the digital events, the virtual engagement is going to need a refresh. Our ways of working are likely to change. People have to be prepared to work in a different model. We don't want to work from home all the time. It's very likely that a hybrid model will evolve. Uh, we as PR people, we as communicators thrive on human connections. Many of us miss that. I mean, this engagement today also would have been so much more different if we were sitting around the table and having this conversation. So I think we have to prepare ourselves for all of that in the year. And I think our clients and colleagues and the young talent that's entering this profession is showing a lot of resilience and readiness for that. So I think it's an exciting time.
Thanks, Bhavna. The only person on this panel who's not an employee but a founder, entrepreneur in her own right is Manisha. Manisha, I want to hear it from you. While the others are all part of global networks, you're an Indian independent company. You run this company with 2 other co-founders. What was running in your minds in the last 6 months to plan better for the future? What is it that you feel, because you don't have the global wherewithal that others have, to do things little differently at an international level? As an Indian company, what are you doing to help your teams, your clients do things in 2021 and beyond differently?
So, Amit, the nature of this crisis required us to be agile and, adapt our strategy so that we can evolve as the, marketplace was working and the way consumers were, consuming the content. So I think, as an Indian company, we understand how, because we work with a lot of startups, so we understand the digital business. So for us, digital outreach became really important. Understanding the multimedia content. Now, when you are planning something, you cannot avoid multimedia formats. How can you avoid podcast? How can you avoid audio visual content, short video format, user generated content? All these content, all these format have become really important. So this is extremely important looking ahead. And also this time has also led to the greater need for PR, which is propelled by social and digital media. So what I feel that we've already gone 3 years ahead. The way we have included the digital strategies to reach to the stakeholders. And I also feel that content has always remained the king. But because there is a lot of information available in the market, and there is also an issue of fake news always. So now going forward, it is very important to give data and insights to your client. Clients had also listened to the new way of listening. They also have to understand that customers have become very engaged and aware. So going ahead, even if we are using all these mediums and even if you're using a lot of technology and medium, you have to always understand that the line of communication has to be empathetic and purpose based. We cannot just keep on taking lines of directly selling the product going ahead. So I just want to cite one example. This happened during the COVID period. That suddenly I'd received one message. That was I'm not going to name a brand, but the message was talking all about that. Okay, if you're going to wear the shirt of this particular brand, you 99% you are COVID safe. So just imagine this kind of communication cannot go ahead with the audience, which is very engaged, evolved, and they know everything. I mean, they have been on internet for so many months, so they know what is going on. So that I think brands have to be, and going forward have to be very cautious about. Yeah.
Manisha. So, clients have been at the receiving end in all ways, right? We've seen clients having a tough time.
Yeah.
A lot of brands couldn't sell, a lot of production had to stop.
Yeah.
You had clients to show with that kind of situation. What is it that you feel clients can do better in the future? If you were to advise clients for free on the show, what would you advise clients to prepare for a situation like this in the future? What are 2 or 3 things you would think a client of yours should keep in mind to deal with such eventualities in the future?
Okay. See, what I think, like with the close of this year, we are seeing, I mean, a lot of them actually finding their foot back to the, I will say, the a new era of which we are talking about. And with this backdrop, 2020, I mean, what I think will be a watershed year for a lot of clients, and especially even for the agencies for that matter. So what I really think that we all have to reinvent ourselves. I mean, be it agency and I think we are doing it. I mean, the clients are doing it, and this virtual world in itself is a reinvention and a change for most of us. All the time which has lost in all these lockdowns and then backdrop of all of this, the profits and also the new environment, the market environment, I think is going to be covered with 2021. The race, I mean, they have to position as a brand of choice in the post-COVID era. I mean, of course, we still don't know when the vaccination is coming or when it is happening. So it is still going to be not completely normal as without mask or like the handshaking era, which I will say that we are still not in there. But I think what will work is like the collaborative manner which we have done, and we have looked all the work as not just a partner, not just as a client in agency relationship, but as a partner in, like, it's like a partner in crime, and it has valued in much better in our existing services. So that is going to make even more difference in the coming months. That is going to make all the difference in the coming months. Also, the clients and the PR counterparts have worked to communicate with the key stakeholders, not just the media anymore, but also the employees, where we all actually stepped up and like worked on that, where we spoke about like and it became a very much key during the COVID time. So the focus on internal communication also increased and enhanced during that time, and a lot of clients who were not actually taking the services for that were also partnering, and I think that is also going to continue with the coming year as well. So yeah, it was challenging, but I will say that it happened pretty beautifully, and all the learnings can be taken care of in the coming year as well.
Thanks, Soumi. I'm going to ask Shivram and Sunaina slightly different questions here. Sunaina, to the older people in the world of PR, when I say older people, people are 20 years and above in experience. Those are typically 43, 44 and above. And to Shivram, this question is for those under 40. What are the things they need to do to reinvent? What should people older than 45 who have been there for 20 years in the world of PR do to reinvent themselves? I'm picking up on the word Soumi used, reinvent. What are 2 or 3 things they should do to reinvent given what has happened in the last 9 months? And to Shivram later, the same question, but what should younger people under 40 do to reinvent themselves for the future of working in public relations? Let's hear it from Sunaina first.
Yeah, so first I take offense on that
No,
above 40
let me clarify.
categorization.
No, I'm not talking
Just,
about the
just,
age here.
just
I'm talking
locking
about
it
people
there.
with 20 years experience
Just
and above,
locking
and
it
20
there.
years experience and below. Just to make it easy, I'm referring to the
No,
age
got it.
here. It's not to do with the age.
No.
Typically, people above 40 have 20 years of experience and above. They are typically digital immigrants. Those below
That's okay. You've already said it. You've already said it. It's logged and noted.
Go ahead.
No, but to your point, I think it's been interesting because some of the best adopters of technology and this sort of very different style of working in at least our organization were people who had a lot more experience. Perhaps also because outside of professional experience, a lot of them also come with life experiences. And life really, as one of the greatest teacher, also lets you teaches you how to work in different circumstances. However, for people who are not people with 20 plus years of experience, you also get set in certain styles of working. And if anything this year has taught us is that nothing really is cast in stone. Your working styles at EGMs have moved to virtual platforms, board meetings have moved to virtual platforms. One of our biggest companies has been announcing deals left, right, and center during this year, all cracked during the lockdown period. So it has been a time for a lot of people who've probably relied more on personal relationships, personal interactions to get to be able to achieve a lot of to achieve their work. For them, moving to shifting a lot of that to a virtual digital platform would have been a relearning of a different sort, not just in terms of using or adapting to the technology, but being able to effectively utilize technology platforms. So I think being able to harness the maximum potential of what technology and digital offers us, and digital's become one of the most used word as well, but to be able to actually be effective in your utilization of these platforms, you don't really need to necessarily attend 100 webinars. You may be able to look at what this platform offers me, how do I extract the best knowledge, and most important, how does it work for me. So I think for those who've been more set in their style of working, in slightly more old school style of working, who still prefer to meet, chat, informal, formal, however, maybe brainstorm, shoot the breeze, discuss ideas, for them a lot of that has changed, and adapting to that has not been the easiest task, but I think a lot of them have been using it quite effectively, and also usage of social media platforms for more than personal content. So a lot of people I know have largely been using Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Insta for personal usage. Moving that to also looking at how it impacts your professional growth, how it impacts your professional life cycle has been another learning curve for a few of them.
Thanks for that, Sunaina. Shivram, what are the things that you feel a younger person in PR, people with less than 20 years of experience, should do to reinvent themselves, given what we have seen in the last 9 months?
Absolutely, it's the other side of the table. So if I were to start off, I would recommend that we need to start investing in building trust. The new millennial generation is the fast forward generation, so I would believe that you can go a very long way if you would invest in building the trust with your partners, in your teams, in your people, because that will actually help you see the difficult times, make you go through the difficult times. That's number one. The second one would be to partner to collaborate, because most of our clients today are looking at us to be the partner in crime, partner in success, partner in failure. So it's more important for us to, and I would believe that the first would lead to the second. If they have trust in your counsel, if they trust in what you do, it will definitely help you look at you as partners. Today PR is never an extended arm. It's not about taking things out and then you become the extended arm of a marketing team. Here today you are the center, or you're in the core of all your client communication campaigns. So it's very critical for us to start looking into being a collaborative partner. So you need to invest in building those collaborative approach. Last but not the least is continue to be creative. This genre is very creative because they understand the tools, they understand the new ways of communication much better, and they also have a liberty to also mix and match platforms. Today every organization is talking about integrated communications approach. When you're looking at that, it's important how do you bring all of that to your client's business. It's not a cut copy paste approach for every client. It's about understanding the client business, investing time in their businesses, and then curating an approach that will work best for that particular client. So I would believe that if you walk the path in terms of building trust, being a partner in collaboration, and getting new ways of platforms and work, you would be a successful PR professional.
Okay. I think you're
Thanks,
saying,
Vibhav.
Shivram, you need to build trust, you need to collaborate to partner, and be extremely creative in these times as a way of reinventing to do better in the future. Thanks. These are very interesting 3 keywords. I'm picking up on the word trust as I move to Bhavna now. Bhavna's company, as you know, is a company, Edelman, that has been driving this trust barometer for many years now. And I think in the next month, we'll see the new edition for 2020 as well. Bhavna, what do people of all ages, I'm not being ageist or sexist here, but what do people of all ages need to do to build trust? Give us a couple of things that people, whether it's brands, whether it's individuals, whether it's companies, what are the couple of things they need to do to build trust so that they are able to find a new way of working in the future that helps them build trust better than they did in the past?
Thanks, Amit. Very relevant question in current times. I think we often speak of trust as something that has it's not something you can touch or feel. It's not something you can touch, right? It's something you experience. It's something you believe. It's something you deliver, you earn over a period of time. A very critical shift that we are seeing is what we are calling action communication. Speaking trust and following your actions to do things that will help you earn and build that trust is becoming a very critical aspect. If you look at our latest trust studies, brands are expected to lead with purpose. Brands are expected to act, not just speak. Businesses are expected to come forward, partner with government. There is a lot more expected of employers to build and act. So I think a critical shift from a trust perspective is it's great to speak and work towards building it, but the immediate part of it is to act on things that will help you build that trust. So action is something that's going to be very critical. That has to follow the speak, otherwise it's not going to get you anywhere.
Thanks. Very interesting. I, in fact, at the Eco Summit a few months ago, heard Richard Edelman speak about action communications. I think for those of you who missed that, can just go search online and you'll find aspects of action communications from Richard's speech as well. Coming back to Manisha again, Manisha, 2021 may be a optimistic outlook or may not be one as well. We don't know, like one of you said or you said earlier, we don't know when the vaccination drive will get completed or when it will start in India in the right earnest way as well. So this is now open to all after Manisha. If you feel optimistic, tell us why do you feel optimistic. If you don't feel optimistic, tell us why you don't feel optimistic. So Manisha, let's start with you. What do you think 2021 will look like? Optimistic or not, and why?
So I am very optimistic, Amit. I think living, surviving, and thriving this pandemic brings a lot of hope and positivity. I think work has already happened. What lies ahead is hope and resilience. And already, the news of vaccination has started generating positive sentiments across the world. Economy has also started opening up, and there are news that you are reading about pent up demand and how revenge consumer behavior is going to happen across multiple sectors. So the need of PR is going to increase in 2021. Brands have to connect with their consumers. Brands have to show that what is their contribution towards the community, towards their stakeholders. So I am totally very positive, and very optimistic about 2021. And I also you feel that the communication industry has also kind of reoriented themselves successfully during this period. So they will be able to give a lot of creative solutions to the brand so that they can connect properly with all their stakeholders, which are consuming content across multiple platforms. Yeah.
Thanks, Manisha. We'll move to Swami. How do you see 2021 panning out? Are you hopeful? Are you not hopeful? Tell us more about that.
Oh, I'm very, very hopeful, Amit. I think yes, of course, the vaccination news is a ray of hope for everything. I mean, this global crisis, if nothing else, has taught us how to be grateful for things, how to be grateful for the food we have on our table, or probably even the job which we are doing right now. And that certainly has taught a lot to all of us that how to say and like feel blessed in this particular situation, which none of us has ever dealt with in the past. So I really think that the worst is actually behind, and then we all are looking forward to this vaccination. And the one very, very important factor which think I have seen in this particular year, and I think it should continue now, is the wellness and the health part. I think people have started taking a lot more attention to their own health, to their holistic health, which means not just being healthy in terms of your heart rates or sleeping patterns or not, but also about the mental health. And I think that's a long way to go to deliver on anything. I mean, it's be it your personal journey or your professional journey. So that is something to be really, really feel good about. And I think this will continue. So I am certainly very, very hopeful and believe that it will be a great 2021 for all of us.
Thanks for that optimistic outlook. I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the other two who I haven't asked this question also are hopeful and optimistic. So I'm going to just tweak this question a bit for Sunaina and then for Shivaram. Sunaina, tell us about, I heard Swami speak on mental health. What did you do in the last 9 months as an individual, as a professional, as a team leader to ensure your mental health was intact to a large extent? I know it's okay not to be okay for all of us, but all of us also have to be okay for the sake of our teams, our families, our larger network as leaders. Tell us what did you do, and I'll come with a similar question to Sunaina next. Tell us about how you kept your mental health in place, or if it didn't happen that way, what went wrong? How did you manage? Tell us.
Okay. So, on the optimism part, I'm cautiously optimistic because I think there will be certain changes that will overall economic changes that may not be the most positive outcomes. But I think from the PR industry, communication industry point of view, there's been a lot of discovery of new skills, new areas of work, new avenues that need communication. And most important, I think a lot of our clients have also realized the importance of communication. For a lot of them who would probably, as somebody did mention, were earlier seeing this as an extended arm of marketing, have realized that credible, unpaid, owned communication, whether it is through media or on your own channels, is the best endorsement that you can get in war, in peace, and in times in between. So I remain fairly optimistic on the industry, but overall on the economic, political, socio-economic scenarios, I'm cautiously optimistic. On the mental health question, I think one of the disadvantages, if I can call this, that came out of this working from home was the inability to switch off. At least when you're working and you're working in an office and going back home, you do have switch off times. You can take the liberty to say, oh, I'll look at it a little later in the night, or I'll look at it in the morning, or let's discuss when I'm in the office. This inability to differentiate between the 9 to 8, 9 to 7, a.m. to p.m., and 7 p.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning kind of time scenarios was a slightly difficult task to achieve balance in, at least in the initial months. And more so because I'm taking an assumption here, a lot of us are also either working parents or had to become working caregivers to elderlies or so. And then trying to find that balance between running a household in a lot of cases for a fairly long time without help, to be able to still be extremely professional and remain committed to your teams, to your organizations, to your clients, and in between all of that, find a little bit of time for yourself. So that was a bit of a challenge, and for me, my me time has always been sacrosanct. While I couldn't go to the gym, I did try and make time for yoga every day. And the advantage was that I'm using an app which lets you do yoga at any time of the day or night. So whenever I could find 45 minutes to an hour,
What's that app called?
okay, I thought we were not taking names of brands, but I subscribe to Cult. So Cult had classes, all the instructors moving online, and you could find a 30-minute slot at any given point of the time. A new thing that I've recently started is that when I know that you are going to have calls, back-to-back calls for like an hour or so, and these are voice calls, not video calls, I take a walk when I make these calls. So a little bit of exercise, a little bit to get you moving, using a Kindle or an Audible to read a little bit, whatever rocks your boat. But I think
Right.
finding that balance and finding that time to switch off, and finding, even if it means half an hour in a span of 8 hours or so, to do something which is your time. And you, all of us would be having that time in office where you go for a coffee break or a smoke break or just a walk break or just generally shoot the breeze with a colleague. Not
Right.
having access to people outside your home environment, not having physical interactions with people, and not having the ability to switch off and switch on is something that we all must consciously be thinking of to maintain sanity and balance between our life and work.
Thanks so much, Sunaina. Shivram, tell us about your story. Do you believe that 2021 will be better than 2020 or similar? And how did you, your team, generally manage to ensure mental well-being through the last 9-10 months?
One thing 2020 has taught us is profitability is just a number. I think all of us realized that very way well in one edge of 2020. All of us realized that it's just a number. So all efforts were gone into making sure that we keep clients and teams happier and safer. So that became priority, and I think that will continue even in 2021. And I would also agree to Sunaina saying that, from a business, if you're looking at numbers specifically, I would say it's cautiously optimistic. Yes, there are a lot of verticals which have opened up. It continues to give us a lot of air cover to grow and do more for our clients. So if you actually, the integrated communications approach, what we are all talking about, enables us to grow more from our clients base. So that's a good one. But the ecosystem is changing for good. So it's left for all of us to see how much and what it is in store for us in 2021. So that's from a business perspective. In terms of mental health, I ate a lot more healthier, cooked a lot more better, took care of people a little better. Like definitely the travel plans, you are constantly on a flight. So that didn't give us time for our near and dear ones. So that happened. And it was a welcome change. You connected better. I connected with people who I must have not spoken, or maybe I speak to them only once in a year during the year end, because that's the time when businesses slow down. So you have enough time to do your, in fact, Amit, we have met during Christmas last year. So that's the basic time. I take time out to meet people during Christmas and New Year. So, but this changed. 2020, we spoke to them more than what we did in the entire year. So that's a good change. So all of this helped. And in terms of teams, we made sure that the team is connecting beyond work at least once a month. So we did virtual parties, we did cocktail sessions, we did a DJ event. So there was a lot of creativity within the teams that came out, which started building the culture back. All of us do understand the agency is a life all of us would any day bet on, but we created a virtual agency culture today that wherein we are able to take the time off, say, okay, this is the me time, what Sunaina spoke about is with the team time. This is where I spend my team. No more the beer bars or beer cafes in Bangalore, but these are these virtual beer bars we kind of created and we are connected on that. So these things will continue. Yeah, we started recognizing people for their efforts. It is easy to do it in office environment. You stand up on the table, congratulate the team, which has actually done a great job. So here we started doing virtual gifting platform, virtual certification. So all of this went a long way in terms of keeping the team intact and then morale motivated so that they're agile and scalable to the client requirements out there. So that's what we did.
Thanks, Shivram. The next is the last round of two questions. A message for people watching, PR professionals in India, corp professionals in India and around the world, your message each. And one trend you see really picking up because of what happened in 2020 and 2021. I've heard some trends in the last 15, 20, 30 minutes talking to you all. But I'd ask you, and we can go in any order. I don't want to go alphabetically or in any specific order. I'll make sure everyone gets a chance to talk for a minute or two at the most. Keep it brief. Share with us that one trend that you see happening in 2021 or already begun happening now, and one message you want to just share with fellow professionals. Anyone can go ahead, and if no one does, I'll pick up and then we'll go with. Great, Sunaina.
I'll go ahead. Okay. I think the trend that I see picking up is the importance of impact more than just output. And that has sort of been redefined in communication term. Clients as well as agency professionals, communication professionals are truly understanding the importance of impact irrespective of the medium more than just output. So that's a trend I'm quite hopeful will continue and continue to grow. Message, these are interesting times and they will probably remain interesting times. There will be a lot of relearning and unlearning that we'll have to do even as the world starts opening up. We've all gotten used to working in a certain style of working in these 9 months. And there will be a fair amount of unlearning and relearning we'll have to do when we actually start looking at going back to offices as well. So don't stop learning, don't stop relearning, don't stop unlearning. That's the only thing that will keep you sane, safe, and happy.
Thanks, Sunaina. Anybody else who wants to go ahead? Yes, Manisha.
Manisha, go ahead.
You're mute.
So I would like to quote one line by Mr. Robin S. Sharma that change is, difficult at the beginning, messiest in the middle, and best at the end. So I think this is what we have experienced in our journey, in the last 7-8 months. So what the message that I would like to give that don't lose hope. If there was an adversity, we also get there was an opportunity also for us. And most of us, the communication industry, we thrived in the end. So I think, stay positive and never lose hope. This is my message for the PR professionals. Yeah, the trend that I'm seeing is, use of multimedia content. I think that is here to stay. We cannot just only rely on conventional approach or cannot just only rely on one aspect of digital. I think if you want to create, integrated strategy, it is very important to, give due importance to the multimedia, the platforms that are available.
Thanks, Manisha. Who's going next?
I will tell. Okay, so I think the trend which I'm seeing is like I will talk on a professional level and otherwise also what people I am seeing. I think everybody has become a chef right now. So we all and people who were not even cooking now has become like survivors and they know how to survive and they will survive, I guess, if anything else worse than this ever happened in our lifetimes. So yeah, certainly that is something very, very interesting to see. And professionally,
that's a personal trend. I'm talking of professional trends. What do you see for clients and teams?
Yeah, that's why I was coming to the professional trend. I think what I've seen is like people have become much more responsible. I mean, in spite of this blurring line between work and personal and professional life, they are taking it much more. They are owning up to it. I mean, all the be it clients, be it our peers or our seniors, they are available. They are more than valuing your work, and they are more than understanding each other. What was not actually earlier the case. I mean, always there was a mismatch in the thing. So I think that has gone a notch higher this year, certainly. And from a point of view of like what message I probably want to give is like, I mean, this year we have stronger relationship. We have gone through this transition pretty strongly. So the only one line I will probably like to say to them that tough times don't last, tough teams do. So yes, yeah.
Tough times don't last, tough people do. Absolutely. Shall we hear from Shivram and let Bhavna have the last word?
Okay, sure. From a trend point of view, what I would see is digital collaboration is going to be the next big thing for all of us. So we need to learn how to do things digitally, whether it is 20 years plus experience, minus 20 years experience. One of the things is definitely going to stay is like, how do you be digital in everything you do? You need to think digital, deliver digital. You need to be digital. So that's basically one of the trends that's going to continue. One thing or a message to the PR professional is while there is hope for this particular category or industry, you also need to think about learning or sharpening your skills. We need to put ourselves a challenge and say every month, quarter, depending on how much of time we have on hand, what is that one new thing or one different thing I would like to inherit or learn? So learning is a continuous process. As long as we are thinking about how do we want to do that, what do you want to ace, where do you want to ace yourself in, will go a long way for each one of us.
Thank you so much, Shivram. Bhavna, what is the one trend you see and what's the message you have to fellow professionals?
Yeah, I think the trend, Amit, that everybody pretty much spoke about. Digital is the way. Where we are seeing a lot of focus and something that has gained a lot of momentum in this year, and will be moving forward is what we are hearing: digital reputation. Brands are looking to start building their reputation online with the media landscape changing, with everybody becoming digitally savvy, the learning and the unlearning and the relearning that's taking place. I think digital reputation will have a very critical role to play in the next couple of years, and we are seeing some great opportunities in that space already. And I think just a message to my peers and colleagues and industry professionals, I think it's the best time to be a global communicator right now. I think the one thing that this time has taught us is that the location doesn't matter. The opportunity to learn is global, the opportunity to deliver is global, the opportunity to be in regional global teams exists. Clients should be asking for best people versus people in certain locations. So I think this is a great time to be a global communicator, and pick and choose what you want to go after and go after it with focus. And I think together with all our resilience, we've crossed 2020. Who knew that we would be speaking today, Amit, almost 10 months since the lockdown happened, and still talking about silver linings, right? I think this year has been a great year of silver linings. And if we just look forward and build on what we have established this year and take a few leaps and take a few leaps ahead, I think it's a great time to be a global professional.
Right. No, thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, Bhavna, too, for your closing remarks there. I really think this is an insightful, informative, and inspiring panel that we had just now. And like I said in the beginning, historic as well, the last panel of the decade. I count 2020 as the end of the decade. Some people counted 2019 as the end of the decade, but that can be debated later on as well. It's also interesting, like we've had two segments of Spectra. We've had Spectra Prime and Spectra Plus. Spectra Prime, we had keynotes from various people across the world, where we had representatives from IPG and Publicis Group as well. And this segment of Spectra Plus, we've had Bhavna Jagtiani, who represents the world's largest PR firm Edelman, part of DJE Holdings. We've had Manisha Chowdhury from an Indian independent, in fact, India's second largest homegrown Indian firm, Value 360 Communications. We have Shivram Lakshminarayanan from WPP's Genesis BCW. We had Swami Sriram from Omnicom's Fleshman, the PR firm here, and Sunena Jairath from Perfect Relations, a Dentsu AG's company. Thank you, ladies, and thank you, gentlemen. It was indeed a great session to learn from each other and get to know your insights, your points of view. I hope viewers watching from India and across the world will also gain from this session in some ways or the other. There's lots for everyone to take home or take back in terms of learning. Spectra Plus was a labor of love, an effort, a passion project put together by various people, and you'll see those in the credits later on. But thank you for watching this. This segment will be available on the Reputation Today YouTube channel in the future as well. I wish all of you a great last day of the year tomorrow, the 31st of December 2020. We hope 2020 has taught us all various things to do better in the future. I wish all of you on behalf of this panel, on behalf of our team, a great 2021, a superb new year. And we hope for the next 100, 200, 300 years, the world is a safer, better place. I know these pandemics of this kind happen once every 100 years. We hope our lifetime and for the next few generations, there's nothing like this that they have to face. Wishing all of you a safe and happy New Year's Eve tomorrow and a great year ahead. Thank you so much and have a good evening.